This is Allyse Sedivy, and we are on the Daily Mentor Call number 24. We are going to be talking right now about how to end the class. And this is honestly, there's so many important parts to this class, but this is where the rubber hits the road, right? So we just barely finished how to transition people to talk about the business and to bring up different options of things that they could do. And this is going to come in handy in just a minute. And now we're going to talk about first your most powerful testimonial and then the closing technique, actually how you do it. So, of course, we don't want to end a class with talking about the business. That's not how we want to end a doTERRA intro to oils class. How we want to end a class is on an emotional high and sharing with them your most powerful experience with essential oils, because it leaves people with hope. It leaves people wanting to try a new lifestyle. It's just good. So that's why we save our most powerful testimonial or our experience to the very end. And it's always better if it's your own. Like if you're talking about somebody else, it's not as powerful if you're talking about your own. And I have a testimonial that I share that's very near and dear to my heart. It makes me cry almost every single time because it's literally changed my life. And I still have my hearing because of essential oils when the doctors said that I was going to lose my hearing. So it's really powerful for me. And, at the beginning, when I first started teaching classes, I hadn't had that powerful experience with my hearing. So I used something else. And just, you don't have to have this amazing, raise somebody from the dead experience to have it be, effective. Just your most powerful personal testimonial about the oils is best. And don't go too long. This one can be a little bit longer than a minute, like you told everybody else. But it could be several minutes. But don't drag it out or you're going to lose people, okay? After you give your testimonial, you're going to go right into the close. And I'm going to tell you a few things that you need. You need your wholesale customer sign-up form and the wellness advocate sign-up form, right? The green and purple ones. You also need paper and pens. You need your enrollment kit pictures. Either they're on the handout that you're using for the class, or if you're not using handouts, then you can just copy them off in color, or you can laminate them if you're going to use them over and over so people can look at those enrollment kits, right? You also need to buy about 20 minutes of time so that you and other wellness advocates that are there at the class can help everyone choose their kits. So let me explain this. The reason why we don't want 20 people showing up to a class and you're the only one there is because how in the world will you be able to close them all at the end of the class before other people leave? If you have them waiting too long, they'll simply just say, hey, just get back to me. You can give me a call. And once they're out that door, your chances of closing them go down. So if you invite 10 people and 8 people show up, you should have 2 to 3 wellness advocates there. 2, if you're excellent and quick and efficient. 3, if it's, if you just like to take your time with people. So literally you've got 15 to 20 minutes before people start getting antsy. And we need to have something to buy our time. This is exactly when you use the books, the essential oil books. So I love the Essential Life book. The reason why I love it for this class is because there's so many pictures. There's so much to look at. It's kind of like Pinterest and eye candy for women. And it keeps them engaged a lot longer than some of the other books that look a little bit more dictionary-like. So, and this is right here. So you need your books, you need your enrollment pictures, you need paper and pens or your handout form, right? And you need a wholesale customer sign-up form and a wellness advocate sign-up form. That's what you need. This right here is where you pass out the enrollment forms and the Essential Life books or whatever resource books that you want to use. Now, the way you're also going to, before I actually say exactly how I say it, you're also going to have everyone during this period of time write down their top few health challenges. That's why you need either the handout form that has it on there or a piece of paper, which is fine too, and a pen. And you're going to encourage them to write down their own health challenges. But some people will have a really hard time. Like a lot of times if I just say, go ahead and you can write down your own health challenges, some people have a really, really hard time writing them down. They're just blank and they sit there, they do nothing until I share my own health challenges. If I say, hey, this is what is happening with me, or this is what was happening with me when I first started using essential oils, it kind of like triggers something in their brain and they think, oh yeah, that's going on with one of my family members, or I deal with this, or it just helps them to remember and they start writing. And then also remind people that it's not just aches and pains and colds and, sniffles and things like that, but it's also emotional needs, stress, anxiety, depression, whatever that can be on their, their top health challenges that they want to write down. All right. And then I kind of like introduce people to what's going on. I tell them that I'm going to individually go person to person, and I do. And then I kneel down right next to that one person, and they all have their books in their hands and they're looking up their, top health challenges. And I basically look at them and I say, so what are we working on? And then I answer questions. I help them find the oils in the book. I explain, how to use the book. I actually explain it to everybody at first, and then I go through and show them. This takes a little bit of time. If you haven't trained your wellness advocates that are at the class to do this, literally what they'll do is they'll stand in the back of the room and they'll just wait for people to walk up to them and ask them questions. That doesn't work. It's not good enough. And it also doesn't work if you just walk up to people and say, so are you going to buy a kit? Or so what kit did you decide? Or so what do you think? That's super awkward. We never ever do that. It's not a good idea. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about before we go into the actual script of the close, and the close is really simple. It's quite simple. It's quite easy, right? Is people are coming to this class. They already have a good experience. They already want to buy something. Okay. They already trust the oil because they had a good experience. So they're coming to this class already prepped, and they look at you as the expert. And even if you've only done it for a month or two, you still definitely know more than they do. So I just want you to get into a frame of mind when someone walks in to the doctor's office and he said, or they say, this is everything that's going on. Does the doctor ever look at them and say, so how do you feel about this medication? Like, do you feel comfortable with it? Or is this okay? Can you afford this? Like, do you have to think about it? Or he never says that ever, 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 because he's authoritative and they came in to get help from him. In fact, if he were to say that, you'd probably lose confidence in him going, you're the doctor. Shouldn't you know? Basically what he says is, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And he just simply writes out a prescription for you. And what do? You simply go and you go get the prescription and you use it. That's how it works. So as an expert with essential oils, you definitely know more than they do. You literally use the same you assume the sale, you assume that they're wanting to buy because they are. And you literally just tell them, this is what we're going to do. According to what you're looking at and the oils here, this is what we're going to do. And this is the kit we're going to use right here. And you just have them sign up the form. Most of the time they go, okay. If they ever have a problem with the price, they'll let you know then. They'll say, oh, that's a little bit more expensive than I wanted. And you simply say, okay, well, then let's start with the smaller kit, and then we can work ourselves up to things you'll still need. And I never have a problem with that. Like, it usually just goes really smoothly. Now, why does it go smoothly? Not because I'm a perfect closer, because I sampled properly, I followed up properly, I invited properly, I followed up with my invitation to the class properly, I taught the right class. They've all come with a great experience. They've already given their testimonials, so they're telling other people why they're so great. And I simply just say, okay, this is what you're needing. Let's do this. Boom. It happens. All right? So that's the close. And let's go into kind of the scripted part of it. Imagine we're in the class at the very end of the class and you've just given your most powerful testimonial, but you've kept it concise and within just a couple of minutes, okay? Not really long. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts of the class where you get to write down your top health challenges and then discover the solutions that will help you solve them. I'm going to share my health challenges. If you promise to write down yours, okay? So when I first started doTERRA, I told you a little bit before, I had restless leg syndrome. And so that was definitely the first thing that I wanted to get rid of because I wasn't sleeping well. My husband had back problems, and one of my children really struggled with depression. So for me, it was like, gosh, if I could help my legs not jump and my husband's back not hurt and my little girl have a better time with depression, this would change my life. It would change my entire family. So then what we're going to do really quickly is I grab a book. I grab the book and I'm going to demonstrate how to use the book. So this is a great book. We love to use this book, and each one of you will get a chance to look through this book. And first I want to just show you right in the very front of the book, this is where you can actually look up the health challenges that you have that you're writing down, and it will simply tell you what are the best oils that have been most successful for a lot of people and how to use them. And then once you do that, you can go into more detail and you can look up chapters that talk about how they exactly work and why they work. You can actually look up individual oils right here in the front, and it will show kind of exactly what's going on, what the oil does. You can actually look up blends that we have, doTERRA blends. So if you want something like On Guard, which is really great for your immune system, you can look that up. And then in the back of the book, it has some incredible chapters on essential oils for children, essential oils for, pregnancy, using essential oils for all kinds of things, outdoor activities, even cooking. So there's so much you can spend as much time with these books as you want, but they're actually my class copies, so you can't take them home with you, but every one of you should have one of these in the future. So we demonstrate how the book works. You just show the book to them, okay? Now we're going to come around to you individually. We're going to answer your questions and help you find out what the best kit is for you, for your needs. Okay, now this is really important that you interject right here. Remember, we've been showing everyone the keychain, and we've been getting our samples, all the little sample vials that we're giving out to people, you get them out of the keychain. So every time you give a sample vial, you open up the keychain, you kind of show it. So everyone's like, what is that? Oh my goodness, that's so cute. And you give them a little sample vial. Well, remember that through the entire class, people are really, really, they're used to you giving out free things. So you're going to actually grab the sample vial again, the sample keychain, okay? And you're going to simply say, oh, I want to talk to you about something super cool. You've seen this before. This is my keychain that holds my 8 on-the-go oils. It's perfect because you always have your oils with you. So if a kid is crying in the back of the car, well, you have lavender. If someone eats the wrong thing while you're out, you have Digestin. If you need to calm down, you've got wild orange. Everyone needs one of these. They're amazing. Like, everyone needs one of these attached to their keys, so they have access to the oils wherever they need them. Who wants one of these? Now, remember, they're really used to raising their hands, and every single time you've asked them to raise their hand before, it's been something free. So every single person in the class will raise their hand. They kind of assume that you're going to give it out, just like you've been giving other things out, right? So every single person will raise your hand. And then you say, so here's the thing. You're actually not going to purchase this from me. You earn it as a reward. If any of you would like me to come and teach a fun class exactly like what we did today, I'll send you home with one of these. So here's how this works. You get an empty keychain when you put your class on the calendar right now. So we can decide on a date that will work for both of us. And then when we actually have your class, for every person you have invited that comes, I'll put an oil in your keychain. So if you have 4 people there, I'll put 4 little sample vials in your keychain. And if you have 8, well, I'll fill the whole thing up. So right now, go ahead and write down your 3 top health concerns that you want to be working on with essential oils. So now here's where literally we walk around to people and you all split up. All of the wellness advocates will split up and they know this. Now, I want to ask you a question. What's the very first person you want to help? Think about this, okay? If you only have 15 to 20 minutes, what's the very first person you want to help? It's the person that you think will leave the soonest. So if your mom is there and she's going to be there the whole time, you don't go talk to mom. If your best friend is there and she's totally supportive and she's the one that's like driving with you home, don't talk to her first, right? You talk to the people that have the least amount of time. So then you actually walk up to them and kneel down right next to them. Kneel on the ground right next to their chair or the couch or whatever. And because you don't want to hover over them. That makes people feel super, super uncomfortable. And it's not natural. And you simply say these words. What are we working on? And that kind of tells them we're working on this together. Like, I'm going to help you with these ailments. We're going to get over this, right? Now, I know that maybe for you, it's really comfortable for you to talk about a lot of health concerns with people because you've done it a lot. But for these people, this might be the first time they have ever shared this with someone outside of maybe their spouse or their doctor. And sometimes it's really uncomfortable. So you want to keep your voice a little bit low and you want to make sure that you're not showing their paper to everybody. I remember I was at a class and a girl was sitting there right next to her boyfriend. And I walked up to her and I kneeled down and I said to her, so what are we working on? And she didn't say anything. And I could see that like tears were starting to well up in her eyes. And she just turned the paper towards me so he couldn't see it. And at the top of the paper, it said infertility. And this like visibly was a huge, huge issue for her. And I remember a time that I was also at another class and I was kneeling down right next to a man. And I looked at him and I said, so what are we working on? And he said, in a really quiet voice. And I actually looked into his eyes and I saw so much pain when I was looking into his eyes. And he said, do you have anything for multiple personality disorder? And I just wanted to give him a big hug and be like, oh, right? These are real ailments for people. So you want to be discreet and you want to be empathetic. So when you're kneeling there and you're looking at their health challenges, you kind of review their health challenges and you help them write down the products that it's asking for, and that you find in the book. It will show you in the book, right? And you want to be sure to include the most common oils for each ailment, right? So if it's like helichrysum and melaleuca, you'd write down melaleuca, okay? And then you're going to look over this and you're going to simply, just like a medical doctor, you're going to look at that piece of paper and you're going to say, all right, here's what we're going to do. I suggest you start with, and just whichever kit seems to fit best. I suggest you start with the Home Essentials kit. I suggest you start with the Natural Solutions kit. I suggest you start with, the Family Essentials kit, whatever that kit is. And do it in a way that you have confidence, right? So that has worked so well for me. Just here's what we're going to do. And then you literally just tell them that they're going to work on the enrollment form. That's it. You never look at them and say, is that okay? Or how do you feel about that? You just say, okay, here's what we're going to do. This is the kit that I suggest you. It's the kit that will help you start addressing your health challenges the best. So I'm going to let you work on this enrollment form. And there's 2 enrollment forms. I'm going to show you both. This first enrollment form, this enrollment form is for people. Remember I talked about the 3 types of people that come to a class? It's for people that are just interested right now in living a healthy lifestyle. They just want to purchase the product. That's this enrollment form. The second enrollment form is for people that are the second and third type of people that naturally want to share and receive their oils for free and get, free natural health care, or the people that want to do what I do and teach other people about the power of essential oils and supplement or even replace their income. This is the form that you're going to need for that. And this is a wellness advocate form. And then I'm going to let you work on this form while I help a few other people. And then you just tell them, I'll come back and check on you. And you just leave them. You let them start working on it. And if they have a problem, I promise you, they'll say, you know what? I don't know if this kit might be too big for me, or I didn't want to spend this much money. And then you simply suggest, okay, well then let's start with something a little bit smaller. And then in time you can get the other oils that I think that you need, right? Now, at this point, if you've done everything properly, they're not going to say something like, I need to talk to my husband. That's already been discussed. They're usually not going to say something like, right now I just don't have enough money. They've already decided coming to the class that they need this product and they're going to spend some money on it. And almost always, you will never have someone say, hey, can I buy just retail? Yeah, can I buy the one that you said that was stupidest and most expensive? I'd like to do that. No, this doesn't happen, okay? So you just assume the sale. And you do it with a set of solutions and with confidence. Remember that they've come well prepared and they're wanting to buy. Don't oversell. Don't push bigger kits without a cause. Only push a larger kit if you truly recommend that and that's what they truly need, okay? That is simply the first part of closing a sale. Now, next, we're going to talk about, on the next call, we're going to talk about booking classes from classes and scheduling wellness consults because you're not done yet. We're just going to get them signed up with a kit. This should take about 15 to 20 minutes. Don't put people into the computer. That takes way too long. That's why you need the forms. You can do the computer thing after. That's way, way better. I mean, every once in a while you have a really, really fussy person that won't write their credit card number down. And you might have to have, so it's smart to bring a laptop or an iPad. You might have to do that, but it will take more time. And if all of the wellness advocates at the class are doing the same thing, it's really efficient. And like I said before, if you do this correctly, if 8 people are there, the average is 6 people sign up that night. It's awesome. Okay, we'll move forward to the very next part of the close on the next call. Talk to you later.